Vicente Fernández became one of the most recognizable voices in Mexican music, carrying the power and emotion of ranchera to generations of listeners. With mariachi violins and trumpets behind him, and the traditional charro image that became inseparable from his public identity, he eventually performed before enormous audiences around the world. But his story began far from those great stages, in the countryside of Jalisco. Vicente Fernández was born in Juntitán El Alto, Jalisco, on February 17, 1940. The son of Ramón Fernández and Paula Gómez, he grew up surrounded by the rural culture that would remain deeply connected to his identity. Music entered his life early. At 8 years old, he received a guitar and began learning the folkloric music of his homeland. As a teenager, he started testing his voice before real audiences. At 14, he won a singing competition in Guadalajara, an early sign that the dream he carried might become something more. The young singer performed wherever people were willing to listen. He sang in restaurants, at weddings, and in modest venues around Guadalajara. These were not glamorous years. But they taught him how to stand before an audience, tell a story through a song, and make emotion feel personal. By his early 20s, music had become a profession. He performed with mariachi groups in Guadalajara and appeared on the radio program Amanecer Tapatio. His voice was slowly moving beyond restaurants and celebrations toward a much larger audience. Then came Mexico City. Fernández arrived determined to enter the recording industry, but success did not come easily. Major record companies rejected him. Instead of abandoning his ambition, he continued searching for opportunities. Eventually, he found an opening at XEX, one of Mexico's important radio stations. His voice could now travel much farther than the rooms where he had once performed. In 1966, the door finally opened. CBS Mexico signed Fernández, beginning the professional recording career he had worked so hard to reach. Early recordings included Tu Camino y el Mío, Perdóname, and Cantina del Barrio. Studio sessions became records. Records found listeners. Audiences grew. And the young man who had once searched for any opportunity was becoming a nationally recognized recording artist. As the 1970s unfolded, his musical identity became unmistakable. The powerful voice, the mariachi ensemble, and the charro tradition increasingly came together as one complete presence. Then came the song that transformed his career. Volver. Volver became one of the defining ranchera songs associated with Vicente Fernández. Its powerful expression of longing and return connected with audiences far beyond a single recording studio. The song traveled through Mexico and across the Spanish-speaking world, helping turn an established performer into an international ranchera star. His music began traveling far beyond Jalisco. Yet international recognition did not require him to abandon his roots. Mariachi remained at the heart of the sound. The charro tradition remained central to his image. And the emotional language of ranchera remained unmistakably Mexican. Fernández also carried that identity into cinema. His screen appearances strengthened the image audiences already knew. The singer, the horseman, the charro, and the performer deeply connected to Mexican popular culture. By the 1980s, Vicente Fernández represented more than a successful recording career. His concerts presented an entire cultural world. The embroidered charro suits, the sombrero, the horses and rural imagery, the violins, the trumpets, the vihuela and the guitarrón all connected his performances to traditions with deep roots in Mexico. And as the stages became larger, those traditions reached increasingly international audiences. Away from the spotlight, Jalisco remained important. At Los Tres Potrillos, his ranch near Guadalajara, family, horses, land and music came together. Success had taken him around the world, but the cultural environment that shaped his earliest years remained part of his life. The venues continued to grow. Fernández brought ranchera and mariachi into major arenas and prestigious concert halls. His achievement was not simply that Mexican music crossed borders. It was that it crossed those borders without surrendering the cultural identity at its heart. International recognition followed. In 1998, Vicente Fernández received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In 2002, the Latin Recording Academy honored him as Person of the Year. Across his long career, Grammy and Latin Grammy recognition confirmed what millions of listeners already understood. His contribution had become part of the wider history of Latin music. But another legacy was developing alongside the awards. Music continued through his family, especially through his son Alejandro and later his grandson Alex. The tradition was visibly passing from one generation to another. Vicente Fernández formally retired from live performance in 2016, closing an extraordinary chapter that had stretched across decades. But leaving the concert stage did not mean leaving music. He continued recording and remained connected to the musical traditions that had shaped his life. Then, in 2019, the meaning of his legacy could be seen on a single stage. Vicente performed alongside Alejandro and Alex. 3 generations of the Fernandez family stood together, sharing the music before an international audience. It was an image that represented something greater than one successful career. Vicente Fernández had helped carry ranchera and mariachi culture from Mexico to audiences around the world. He had shown that traditional music could enter the modern global entertainment world without losing the roots that gave it meaning. His recordings became part of family memories. His songs passed between generations. And the musical culture he represented continued through countless musicians and listeners. Vicente Fernández died in 2021. The great stages eventually became silent. But from Hume Titan in Guadalajara to concert halls around the world, the journey had already left its mark. The boy from Jalisco had become one of the enduring voices of Mexican music. And long after the final applause, the music continues.
3 voices, 1 old flame, a tradition moving forward while generations change. From Jalisco to the world, let the mariachi play.